Hello and welcome to the 50-cent tour of Wednesday, April 17th, 2013. Please be so good as to find a seat on the Liberty bus. It's a little chilly this morning where I am. Hope you have some nice hot coffee or hot cocoa or cappuccino or espresso or something like that. Groundhog Day was on TV last night, so that line is kind of fresh in my mind. So let's begin our tour with some Boston bombing updates. This article is from Gemstone Freelance, and it addresses some questions that people were asking yesterday and just shows how these operations can be accomplished. And I read somewhere yesterday that the CIA employs 300 actors and special effects people. So this is not anything new that they would fake something. As Gemstone said, some of it appeared to be real, but who knows, maybe some of it is just better special effects. There was also speculation yesterday that perhaps what was happening was somebody wanted somebody taken out, assassinated, and that was a cover. The bombing was a cover. You know, these people tend to kill many birds with one stone whenever possible. They always try to do the most damage for the least cost or exposure to themselves. A friend yesterday wanted to know where the credentials were of the guy who put together the video who showed that the man who lost his legs appeared to be a fake. So I thought I better include some credentialed people today, even though that means virtually nothing to me. If anything, most credentialed people are more highly suspect because it's more likely that they are owned, bought and paid for. But Ben Swann is credentialed and he is free. Ben Swann reality check. Did the FBI know about Boston bombing beforehand? There do seem to be a lot of indications that they may have. So there's still a lot on the table about the marathon, but I kind of want to move on. I think this Ricin thing might really be the big enchilada. I think that might really be what they're going to go after us with. Now Christians are very openly being mentioned as being at the top of the list of suspicious characters, and gun people are always suspect these days. Gun control bill in peril. This is good news, actually, that it appears that the gun control bill is not going to get very far. This is not so good news because this is being blamed on gun people, as you will see in a moment. Ricin Letter, Senate office correspondence to Roger Wicker intercepted at screening facility. Okay, who is Roger Wicker? And this article is actually entitled, Who is Roger Wicker? The Ricin tainted envelope intercepted at a Washington mail facility was addressed to Republican Senator Roger Wicker. The senator has been assigned a protective detail, but who is Roger Wicker? He has been participating in putting together the gun legislation, the anti-gun legislation, the restrictions, and that is, you know, he's an obvious target for people who don't want gun restrictions. But as we all know, we are being very cautious about not being the first ones to attack physically, not being the first ones to fire. He who shoots first loses. And I believe that virtually probably all of the people who want to keep their gun rights are exercising great restraint to not move in any sort of a violent way. So this is just a setup, And if we really want to know what sorts of things we can anticipate or look for, here's the Illuminati playing cards. And this is not for the timid, not for the squeamish. I don't know if they shuffle this deck and draw one to decide what they're going to do next. I'm not exactly sure how this works, but if there is there are images here on this website of all the cards. And if you want to dive in head first and learn about this, you can do it through this website. And as many of you, I'm sure, are aware, yesterday there were a lot of videos that showed that one of the Illuminati card game cards shows a runner, a jogger, and that there is a link between that card and what happened yesterday in some people's minds. Now here's bank merger, and that is interesting pertaining to this information. $560 billion wiped of central banks' reserves on gold slump. What is really happening here? You know, a lot of people have expressed opinions. Gold buying frenzy continues. China, Japan, and Australia scramble for physical. One would think that this gold buying frenzy would be pushing up the price of gold, but it's up a tiny bit today, but is not recovering. And what many people have said is that what is happening with gold has to do with a global financial reset and Basel III, whatever, compliance, that countries will have to have a certain amount of gold, a certain amount of resources to back their currencies now, and that the countries are trying to buy gold so that they can fortify their currency, and that this is all agreed upon, that the price of gold is low so that they're able to do this because evidently it behooves all of us to have a global financial reset. And there are even rumors in the U.S. that the Federal Reserve is going to be replaced by the U.S. Treasury. How great would that be? But we'll have to watch them like a hawk. And there have been rumors that the IRS may go away. Waiting to see that one happen before I put a whole lot of stock in that belief. I want to address this because yesterday and probably today, everybody is overwhelmed by all the fallout from what happened at the marathon. And as I stated yesterday, I believe we need to keep looking around us in every direction and watching to see what's going on. 7.8 earthquake hits Iran. That is a big earthquake. And I believe I read that something like 33, 34 people died. And, just that number 33. Speaking of numbers, just one moment I want to go back to the marathon issue. We're scrolling through videos last night about the Family Guy marathon connection on YouTube, and we happened to notice that out of maybe 20 videos, 25 videos we scrolled through, more than 2/3 of them had 301 views. That just seems highly unlikely. Where did that number come from? Just as a reminder that YouTube, if you put videos out there and you're getting certain numbers, you can't really rely on those numbers. Certainly don't ever feel discouraged if you are having low views. Again, looking around, maintaining focus not only in one place but regarding many issues. U.S. aid falls into Al-Qaeda's hands in Syria by design, not chance. And this article outlines how many resources that have been sent. Recently, it was revealed that the U.S., UK, and France, through Qatar, Saudi Arabia, Jordan, Turkey, and other regional allies, have been funneling cash and thousands of tons of weapons into Syria, the vast majority of which have ended up in the hands of Al-Qaeda's Syrian franchise. So let's not forget who it is that we're dealing with. Let's not take our eyes off the ball. No matter what is promised, no matter what's going on, no matter how much upheaval there is, we need to keep our eyes on the ball and watch what is really going on. Watch what these people are doing to us and to the world. And hopefully we'll all be able very soon to agree together openly and publicly that this is not going to be allowed to continue any further. I kind of forgot to include any good news today. The good news is that we are still alive and we still have hope and we are still pushing back and resisting this effort to take over the world for evil. But this looks like good news, but it's not. New free vacation resorts for awake and aware Americans. This article actually is about how the Army is recruiting internment resettlement specialists. And wow, this really sounds like they're preparing to have some prisoners. Could that be you and me? Could that be the Christians? Could that be the gun owners? God help us. God save us. I hope not. But I was curious enough about this to go to the actual Army website. And here it is. GoArmy.com/careers and jobs. And internment resettlement specialist. What is up with that? I'll let you scroll through it on your own if you like. I don't have the stomach for it at this moment. There is a strong implication that they are preparing to have a lot of prisoners held somewhere. So let's insist on liberty, shall we? And hoping that you will also love one another and care for one another. She who will walk in the dark does thank you and is glad of your company and wants to remind us all that soon we will be walking in more light. The dawn is coming. Weeping may endure for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And the seasons teach us, everything around us teaches us that things change. And sometimes things change for the worse, and sometimes things change for the better. But we are praying and believing for the better.